What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another Man City video, where today we're going to be doing my reaction to Man City's 3-0 win at home against Sunderland, which, thanks to an Aston Villa late winner against Arsenal in that game at Villa Park, has now sent Man City just 2 points behind Arsenal at the top of the Premier League, with both sides having the same goal difference. And we're now looking here very much at a title race. So, having a look then at this game, Manchester City, of course, are always looking to try and play the circumstances, which is you're looking to find the opening goal. If you find the opening goal, you're looking for the killer 2-goal cushion, and then you want to put the game to bed. They're the circumstances that we're looking at, and they're the circumstances that we managed to achieve, which has helped Man City to go on, score 3 goals, keep a clean sheet, pick up an important 3 points, and move on to the next game, is the overall summary of what we're looking at for this game. But you dig a little bit deeper and you start to see one or two frailties that are still there for Manchester City, but also lots of other positives as well. So just having a look then at this game, Man City, of course, taking the lead through Ruben Dias in a Vincent Kompany-esque goal that he scored for City, which was absolutely fantastic. If you've not seen the goals for this game yet, go and check out the highlights. That Ruben Dias finish was a thing of beauty. Honestly, an absolute thing of beauty, a cracking finish from Ruben Dias, and it's a perfect way of opening up a game for a team that's more than happy to basically throw every man behind the ball and make space really tight for City, look to try and be physical, win their midfield battles and spring the counter-attack and try and expose City's high line, which is what Sunderland's game plan was always going to be. So it was always going to take something magnificent to be able to break Sunderland down, and the fact that we managed to do that after 31 minutes in the first half puts us in good stead, and also that circumstance, the all-important opening goal. We go 1-0 behind. This game becomes a very difficult game of football for City, so it's always good to find the opening goal, and it's always good that 4 minutes later you double your lead and you get your killer 2-goal cushion. Again, as I said before, ticking that circumstance, and this time it's just a very simple corner, cross and header. And it's nice to see. I've spoken about how attacking Man City can be, how many set pieces we get in a game, and how you can really utilise set play to be able to aid us to score more goals, to be able to, turn losses into draws and draws into wins. And it's just a good thing to have in your back pocket if you can do it. And it was a brilliant ball in from Phil Foden. It was really well read by Josko Gvardiol, and a good header into the bottom corner, and we double our lead. It's as easy, yet it can be as complicated, because we make it look complicated with these corners and, the short passes and moving it round and working on this set piece and that set piece, and sometimes you just can't beat putting a quality ball into the box and win your header. You do that, you stand every chance of scoring a goal, and it was nice to see. And it's not something that we've seen loads of under Pep Guardiola, and I think it can just be something that could be really useful for Man City going forward. A good corner from Foden, a good header from Josko Gvardiol. Let's not forget, Sunderland are a very physical side. They'll have been working on their set pieces. They'll have been working on winning them headers, them crosses, them balls into the box from both a defensive and attacking point of view. So that was good from Manchester City, and sent us 2-0 in at half-time, and obviously things looking very rosy for City. And it was always important that City can look to try and score the next goal, because the problem that we had last weekend in our game against Leeds United was allowing them to score early on, to get their tails up, to get half the deficit, and all the momentum turns back to Leeds, and it becomes about what a Leeds going to do, and adrenaline starts to kick in. And we saw that with Fulham scoring 3 minutes after Man City had made it 5-1. Because they've scored after 3 minutes, they managed to send a 4-goal deficit down to 3, and they think if we could score a game very quickly, which they did, all of a sudden it's gone from a 4-goal deficit down to a 2-goal deficit, and the belief starts to come in, the adrenaline starts to kick in, doubt starts to hit him from Man City, and it becomes a very different game of football. And that's what we've seen against Leeds and against Fulham. We've persevered with them. We've got the 6 points from them 2 games, so just move on and learn the lessons. But that frailty that was there against Leeds, that frailty that was there against Fulham, it was there against Sunderland. Sunderland had a couple of really good minutes early on in that second half to try and get that next goal. They probably should have had the next goal, forcing an outstanding save from Donnarumma one-on-one, and then just a couple of minutes later smacking the post. So had one of them opportunities gone in, they would have halved the deficit, They start to get the momentum, the score goes 2-1, and we're probably sat here having a very different discussion. But it goes to show about how football is just a game of the finest of margins, regardless of who you are against. When you're looking at elite top-level football, it is the finest of margins that decide a football game. It was the finest of margins at Villa Park that turned a potential 3 points for Arsenal, which looked like they were going to have just 1 point, which then became obviously 0 points at the end of the game with them finding a last-minute winner. There's their fine margins. Arsenal not defending at the back post for the opening goal, and Arsenal not being able to defend near enough the last kick of the game has ensured that they've ended up picking up no points from that match. And had Man City have not made that save from Donnarumma, which I know people have been criticising Donnarumma, and I said in the summer when we brought him in, he's going to be brought in. He's not Ederson, he's not got the distribution of Ederson, but in the finest of margins, in the biggest moments of the game, you need Donnarumma to come in and make a big save. He will make them big saves, and that's exactly what he did here. He realised it was going to be one-on-one, so he just rushes right out, and he's going to make that gap because he's so big that it's going to be very difficult to be able to put that ball either side of him. So what you end up forced to do is what Sunderland were forced to do, which is you go with power, and he just whacked it straight at Donnarumma and he made the save. And that was all through Donnarumma's reading of that situation. So that was an excellent bit of goalkeeping, and I've come to expect no less from one of the best goalkeepers in the world. It's why Man City chose to bring him in from Paris Saint-Germain in the summer. And then Sunderland hitting the post, again, a finest of margins. That is the inside of the post and goes into the back of the net. It's 2-1. We're having a different conversation. It doesn't happen, and ultimately, Man City, a few minutes later, goal at the other end, and the Rayan Cherki assist is sensational. As I said, if you've not seen the highlights, go and watch it. It's Phil Foden gets his header all wrong. He's trying to flick the header towards the back post. He gets his header wrong, and I think he just leaves the keeper rooted to the spot, and it ends up hitting the underside of the crossbar. Nowhere near where Phil Foden wanted to put the header, but no one's going to speak about that because it's all about that Rabona from Rayan Cherki. An incredible assist from Rayan Cherki, who had a fantastic performance for City, a man of the match performance for City, and surely going to be starting that game against Real Madrid. And City end up winning the game by 3-0. We go 2 points behind Arsenal, and pressure very much onto them as we move on to the next Premier League match, which comes next weekend. And I don't really want to look any further beyond what is coming up beyond our next game, which obviously Real Madrid in the Champions League coming up on Wednesday, and then Man City going to be playing after Arsenal. So Arsenal have got a chance in their game on Saturday evening, next Saturday, against Wolves at home, which I'd expect to be a formality because Wolves have just been terrible this season. That Arsenal will win that game, so that 2-point gap will go to 5 once more, and then City are under pressure next weekend in a very difficult away game against Crystal Palace. But it's these games where, again, it'll be decided by the finest of margins, as we saw from the FA Cup final last season, we know what we need to do, and if we can win that game, I think that's the kind of game where Man City can really lay down the gauntlet to say, not only are we here to put the pressure onto Arsenal, we're serious about overtaking Arsenal, we're serious about winning the Premier League, and it just gives Arsenal something to think about, because I firmly believe that as Sunderland have done against Arsenal, as City have done against Arsenal, as Villa did yesterday against Arsenal as well, you get this Arsenal team under pressure, you get this Arsenal team within one goal, they don't start having things their own way, they'll start chucking their arms up, they'll start making mistakes, they'll leave themselves exposed either in midfield or in defence, and when you get them moments, and 1 or 2 moments, you put them in the back of the net, all of a sudden Arsenal don't have things their own way and they end up dropping points. And I think that's the way to go at Arsenal. You've just got to ensure that in them circumstances that you're putting your opportunities away and you're keeping Arsenal to within 1 goal at all time. You allow Arsenal to get ahead of steam and they get that all-important 2-goal cushion, defensively very strong. They become a very difficult side to score against. It's why they've gone on some fantastic runs so far this season. But you get Arsenal under pressure and you can take the lead against them, for example, and they start just to struggle and they miss 1 or 2 good opportunities. All of a sudden you stand a real good chance of being able to take at least a point off Arsenal, even win a game, as Aston Villa showed against them yesterday. So there's still so long to go in this marathon of a Premier League season, and I'm taking a lot of encouragement from this weekend's games with Arsenal losing and City winning. So what we need to do now is ensure that we've got a bit of momentum going in our favour, that we don't let that momentum slip next weekend, and we've done really well to narrow that gap down to 2 points. We've got to keep it at 2 points after next weekend at the very least is what we've got to try and ensure that we do. But for Man City, you know, we take a lot of positives away from that win against Sunderland. I imagine there won't be too many changes from the starting 11 against Sunderland for the game against Real Madrid. So the preparation has got to start for that now for a big Champions League game. Because we lost against Bayer Leverkusen in our last game, we're now you know, we end up not winning this game, and Man City got plenty to think about heading into the final couple of games. I look at the Champions League table and I think to myself, City level on points at this moment in time. I mean, 6 points might be enough for us to make a top 8 finish. Possibly, maybe. I'm thinking to myself, I reckon 7 points will definitely do it. So if we could go to Madrid and get a win, that would be amazing. If we end up getting a draw, I don't think that's the worst kind of result for us, because, you know, we win away in Norway and at home against Galatasaray in our final 2 games in January. And Man City then should be into the top 8 and through to the last 16 of the Champions League. And we have a couple of games less in February as well. And also we get the all-important home leg for the Champions League last 16 for the second leg, which is always important when it's the tie decider, pretty much, that you want to be playing in front of your own fans at what you want to be the Fortress Etihad Stadium, which up until the last game against Bayer Leverkusen very much was. So we've got to try and recover. If we can go to Madrid and pick up a win, then we've got a lot of momentum going in our favour, because, you know, we came back after the international break. It was back-to-back losses against Newcastle and Bayer Leverkusen. We've won our last 3 Premier League games now, win against Madrid, and, you know, it's 2 losses in a row. We've turned that around with 4 wins in a row, and all of a sudden, you know, long, difficult schedule in December, things start to look real rosy. And I've said before that you want to look at where things get decided, in particular with longer formats like the Champions League phase and the Premier League. Then December's such an important month because games are coming thick and fast. You've not really got much room for rotation. Fatigue starts to hit in. It becomes very difficult. So you've just got to persevere, and the way that you go about that is having adrenaline, and you will pick up the adrenaline from being full of confidence, picking up wins, scoring goals, keeping clean sheets, which is what City did in this game against Sunderland. And I think that is the perfect kind of preparation that we have with some more difficult games coming forward, including over the next 7 days or so with away matches at Real Madrid and Crystal Palace. So I say, bring it on. They're my thoughts, guys. Do get your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on today's video. Lets me know that you are enjoying the videos. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. Keep you up to date with all the latest City content here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. Social media links there in the description too if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll be back again real soon for the build-up to City's game against Real Madrid. However, I will be back tomorrow with a Man City transfer update for you guys to enjoy, so do stick around. I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.